Search Sri Lanka has been working on the thematic area of digital peace building since 2018. Our efforts to make the internet in Sri Lanka a safer, more inclusive space even got a Common Ground Award in 2021. But behind the glitz and glamour, we have continued to work behind the scenes to continue our mission of achieving a safer, more inclusive digital space. And now I invite Dharini to join me in discussing our latest work, a capacity building session for a global pool of digital community stewards. To start us off, Dharini, why don't you tell us who digital community stewards are?
Thanks, Vinusha. I think, as you said, a lot of organizations, including Search, works on digital peace building. But a group that is often overlooked in those, efforts is groups that exist on social media. So that could be like a WhatsApp group, that could be a group on Facebook, whether it's private or public. So what we wanted to do was to work with individuals who lead and facilitate conversations in these online groups, or what we called digital communities. So in that sense, a digital community steward is either an admin or a moderator of a digital community group. So we worked with a group of people who were leaders and moderators and admins of various groups on Facebook, Telegram and WhatsApp.
Sure, thanks for that. So the project that we're working on is funded by Meta, that's the parent company to Facebook. We're working closely with the Search for Common Ground's global team to sort of continue the work under this project. This training took place in Dubai from 21st to 25th August 2022, and there were online sessions in September. And if you can tell us why exactly we chose to work with digital community stewards, like what is so important about this group of people?
So digital community stewards, one of the things we learned while we were developing this program are technically accidental leaders, right? Something that we learned to differentiate was the difference between an influencer and a community steward. Because influencers, often a lot of them, take up that mantle of being an influencer by choice. I want to be a voice for my community. Whereas a lot of admins and moderators, even though some of them, even the people we work with, some of them had created their own groups, a lot of them were put in that position. So a lot of digital community stewards don't have the skills or experience or even the tools to kind of navigate the digital space or the digital community in which they are, the leader. So we wanted to work with these people so that we understand what their experiences are, what kind of skills they need and what kind of support they need to kind of manage these online communities. So we kind of touched upon a lot of things. We talked about things like how do you enhance the safety of your online community, this little community that you're managing. We also spoke about how do you kind of build trust and inclusivity within your online group. How do you make sure that you attract more people to your cause? How do you make sure the people who are in your group or in your community stay there and don't kind of, lose focus or interest? So there was a lot to discuss, and the important thing we learned was that a lot of these things were not communicated with them because there is no training or certificate to be a digital community steward. It's just something you do out of passion and out of interest. So that's why it was important, because nobody really has tried this before.
So we clearly saw from the pictures and the videos that these capacity building workshop sessions were great and very full of energy. And you were there obviously with our digital peace building specialist Kiru, along with the senior VP for programs Lena from our global search team, along with our country director Nawaz and Emma, who is with us in the Sri Lanka office. Just tell us a little bit about the trainings. What were they like, and what were some of the learnings you had, or what was your experience?
I think, like I said, one of the first things we realized, both for the trainers and the participants, was how valuable it was, because nobody really realized that this is something we need to do. This is a pool of people that we need to work with. So when we started the conversations, when we had 9 modules, and we implemented 6 of them in Dubai and 3 of them online later on. And we realized how important each and every single module was whether it was on digital safety or whether it was on, identifying misinformation, dealing with hate speech. That was the kind of the most important learning, the value. And as you know, the project that we did, the training that we did in Dubai was a pilot. And the objective of that pilot was to see whether this training is necessary, and that we realized that. From the participants, they said these are things that we didn't know we had to know, right? Because when you're a digital community steward, you're not doing it as a full-time job. It's just something you do when you have some time, right? Like a Facebook group you're managing, like a WhatsApp group you're managing. But a lot of people didn't understand or rather overlooked the responsibility that comes with being a digital community steward. And we were able to discuss that. And I think the participants were also very appreciative of the fact that they were able to meet a lot of like-minded people. Because for this particular training, we chose a very specific group of stewards who were engaged with groups that concern various social issues. So these were not people who manage groups like a group for an actor or a hobby. These are groups that are about social change. There were people who manage groups on, youth empowerment, gender-based issues, religious issues, democracy, things like that. So they were really able to kind of talk about their experiences to each other and also talk about why we need to have this kind of formal training and also opportunities for these people so that they can actually improve their skills and knowledge.
So I think even Search has actually heard this feedback and taken it to heart in some of the solutions that we're also working on under, the digital peace building work that we do. And some of the work, like for example, I think we're in the process of developing a chatbot for social media users by digitizing something we call the common ground approach. So the common ground approach, for anyone who doesn't know, is how we effectively deal with conflict. So we're translating this to an online measure where the strategy can be employed by people who are functioning in online spaces. Personally, for you, what do you think the road ahead looks like for digital peace building, specifically with these stewards, community stewards on board?
I think it's an excellent initiative because similar to the other effort that we were talking about the chatbot and the common ground approach, both these initiatives focus on online conflict, and that's something we just ignore, right? Because online conflict is easier to ignore. You can just leave the platform, you can block someone, you can mute someone, but that's not always a solution. And these initiatives that we are doing, including the one with the community stewards, is to make sure that people really understand how to navigate that conflict. So if you're managing a group and there is conflict between your members, there's a conflict between you, the admin, and one of the members, how do you deal with it? How do you address it? And how do you make sure, the essence of it is, how do you make sure people feel safe, right? In your group, in your online community, how do you make sure they feel safe and included? And that's something that we all need to have conversations about. So I think one of the things that we are trying to do in the future through this project is to turn this training into a self-learning curriculum where any kind of admin or moderator can go online and do this training online, right, for free. By doing that, we are kind of increasing the access to this kind of resources and support and skills. So we really hope that in the future, people who are moderating groups, who are leading online communities will really find this and make use of it, because that will make them feel more confident about what they're doing. And also it will make them feel supported, that somebody is addressing that this is an important responsibility and I have the support and the skills and tools I need. So, yeah.
So, I mean, while there's a lot of exciting updates and pilots that's going to come from our end, based on our learnings and our previous work on digital peace building, we're very convinced that the road ahead is full of opportunity for us to learn and grow. And it's also a call to other peace builders to get on board and, follow us for more updates and be in touch, basically. Yeah, we'd also like to end this quick podcast by thanking everybody who supported the digital peace building work at Search, specifically the support we've got from our global team, all donors who've been behind this sort of work and been very supportive and understanding of the Sri Lankan context. So thank you, Dharini, for your time. And yeah, let's wrap up.